did tonight was two things that I didn't think you could put together in the same speech, which was he did not get specific on the mass deportation. Some will say that's a flip-flop, because he didn't. Where was this sort of definitive mass deportation? He talked about it at one point, and another point said then in several years we're going to get around to that, and I'm still not sure what he meant by that. On the other hand, he gave a speech that was tougher than I've heard, and in a way that I think will drive away Hispanic voters. So he did two things, and he didn't get specific on the big issue of mass deportation, but he gave a tough speech. Mm-hmm. So he sort of threaded the needle that way in a way that I didn't think that he was going to do it. How effective it is to broaden his base, I have no idea, but it's politics.
Yeah.
And
Mark, to Mark's point, which we were talking about also during the speech, is that having the families of people who have been killed by undocumented immigrants on stage is really no different than having Mothers of the Movement at the Democratic Convention up on stage.
Right, and Mothers of the Movement are the mothers who have lost their children to gun violence. I mean, the bottom line is politics is dirty. We all know that. These people are pawns in many ways, used by both sides, by the Republicans and Democrats, but they're choosing to be there. The folks who were on that stage today weren't forced to be up there. The Mothers of the Movement are not forced to be up there. So politics is really dirty by definition. I mean, I guess I could say, by definition, being a politician is being a liar, but I would get in trouble for saying that.
But you just said it.
But I just said it. What I would say is that politics is something that we embrace here in the United States, and it is part of our democracy, but it's not clean, and both sides engage in the same tactics, and we're seeing that in the skit.
The President of Mexico was playing politics too.
And he lost, and you know what? And he's not a good player of politics.
Kirsten, is there a difference between the families tonight and the families at the Democratic Convention?
Well, I think the difference is the way Hillary Clinton talks about police officers versus the way Donald Trump talks about illegal immigrants. And look, at least they also at the Democratic Convention did have some police officers who spoke as well. So it wasn't just about the families. And Hillary Clinton has not railed against police officers in the way that Donald Trump has talked about illegal immigrants. We all know the things that he has said, talking about them being rapists and murderers and things like that. So I don't see this being the same thing. I think if he had just, shown those families without all this sort of demagoguery that he does around illegal immigrants, it would be differently. But Hillary Clinton has spoken about the fact that we need to respect police officers. And at the same time, she's recognized the fact that African Americans don't always feel safe with law enforcement.
We're going to talk about all that as we start the next hour. We're going to hear more from Donald Trump tonight in his speech in Arizona on immigration, and also hear more from him in Mexico today with Mexico's president. We'll be right back.